And at this time, I am going to introduce our first panelist, who I have met in person in Switzerland at the European Convention. She is a member of Sweden Public Relations. And with that, I'm going to give you Petra.
Thank you, Elena. Hello, everyone. My name is Petra, and I'm a recovering addict from Sweden. And I'm very excited to be here today at this event. And thank you for the introduction of the film here. It was really great to see it. It's really hope-inspiring. So I just want to introduce myself. I got clean in 2004. I was 24 years old when I got clean, January 16th. And at that time there, I didn't believe that NA would work for me. I had a father who got clean before me and an older brother who got clean before me, but I really felt different. So I didn't think, I went to my first NA meeting when I was 17, but I didn't think NA would work for me. And I tried several different treatment centers, and I went to detox and medication and everything. But finally, when I was 24, I gave NA I gave NA a chance and myself a chance. And today, with 18 years clean of drug-free life experience, I'm really grateful for the support and the tools I've gotten from NA. And it did work for me. And I've seen NA work in the lives of many, and I'm really grateful. And what NA has given me is not only that I'm drug-free or clean today, but I also have, I feel connected to society and the world. I have hope. I have a new identity. I'm educated. I work. I'm a mother. And my life has a meaning. And what I do here today, this voluntary work I do in NA is part of that too. And I feel empowered, I take responsibility for my life today, and my life is a rich, full life, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Well, as you could see in the film here before, Narcotics Anonymous sprang from the Alcoholics Anonymous program in the late 1940s. And the first meeting emerged in Los Angeles area, California, in the early 50s. And today, NA has grown into one of the world's oldest and largest organizations of its type. And it's well established also through much of the Americas, Western Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. We also have newly formed groups and NA communities throughout the Indian subcontinent, Africa, East Asia, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. And the narcotics books, anonymous books, and information pamphlets are currently available in 49 languages. And in Sweden, we can also see that because our fellowship grew quite slow in the beginning. NA came to Sweden in the 80s, and in the beginning we had no literature in our own language, so we had some English literature or American literature, and we tried to translate it, but when we got our basic text translated to Swedish, it just exploded. So the literature is so important in NA. And we hold over 79,000 weekly meetings all over the world. And it is a community-based organization, and it's a free resource for anyone who wants to use us as a adjunct to treatment, or so, because when the time comes to leave treatment, for many addicts feel overwhelmed, and there's a lot of emotions and fear of returning to active addiction, and the return to family, job, and friends can cause feelings of uncertainty, guilt, or So meeting life on its own terms can be frightening, and then NA can be a supporting network with friends who can be there for you like 24/7. And our book Basic Text provides the best description of who we are and what we do. It says NA is a non-profit fellowship or society of men and women for whom drugs have become a major problem. We are recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. NA's primary approach to recovery is its belief in the therapeutic value of one addict helping another. So members take part in NA meetings by talking about our experience and recovery from drug addiction. So anyone who wants to stop using drugs may become a member of Narcotics Anonymous. The membership is not limited to addicts using any particular drug. Those who feel that they may have a problem with drugs, both legal or illegal, including alcohol, are welcome in NA. In Recovering NA focuses on the problem of addiction, not on any particular drug. And Narcotics Anonymous welcomes the cooperation of those in government, treatment and healthcare professions, criminal justice organizations, and private voluntary organizations. And it's also that NA non-addict friends have been really important in getting Narcotics Anonymous started in many countries and helping NA grow worldwide. So NA strives to cooperate with others interested in Narcotics Anonymous. Our more common cooperation approaches are providing contact information, recovery literature, and sharing information about recovery. And NA members are often available also to provide a presentation for treatment centers and correctional facilities, and offering information about the NA program to the professional staff, or sharing with addicts who otherwise are unable to attend community-based meetings. So as you can see, we have today we have a worldwide multilingual, multicultural fellowship, and we have a lot of over 76,000 weekly meetings. So NA works in all different cultures or in countries and languages all over the world. So how it works, addicts helping each other recover are the foundation of NA, and members meet regularly to talk about our experiences in recovery. More experienced members, known as sponsors, work individually with newer members. So the NA program is a way of life, which is based in the 12 steps. And the steps offer members an avenue for growth and change to maintain our recovery. So we learn how to apply these steps to our lives by reading NA literature and going to meetings. So recovering NA is not a miracle cure that just happens within a given period of time. Like, it's a process, it's ongoing, and it's personal. So, and members make an individual decision if you want to join and recover, and we do it at our own pace. Narcotics Anonymous is not a religious organization, as I thought when I first got here. Sweden is a very secular country, so it's not, I thought it would be, I thought NA was, that was one of my misconceptions about NA, but it's not a religious organization, and we do not mandate any particular belief system. NA teach basic spiritual principles, and such as honesty, open-mindedness, faith, willingness, and humility that can be applied in everyday life. And we also have many access points to meetings. You can go to virtual meetings or physical meetings, or phone line meetings, and so on. So the 12 steps are the basis of our recovery program, and our meetings are where we share recovery with one another. But applying our program consists of much more than simply attending NA meetings. People have all sorts of reasons for attending NA meetings, but the purpose of each meeting is to give NA members a place to share recovery with other addicts. So we often share our personal experiences of living life on life terms, going through difficulties in recovery or moments of different like life experiences. And the meetings also promote an atmosphere of recovery. It's a very supporting atmosphere where you are allowed to be who you are and have your feelings, and you will be supported in your recovery. And experienced members support newer members, not only through sponsorship, but also on a group level. NA has no membership or fees or dues, but it costs money to hold meetings and provide other services. So our members make voluntary contribution, but you're not pressured to do that. It's a decision you make yourself if you want to support the group and can support the group in the efforts to carry our message. And our meetings vary widely in size and style. Some meetings are small and intimate. Other meetings are large and loud. The practices and terms used in our meetings also vary widely from one place to another. But in our meetings, the meetings are the place where we share our experience, strength, and hope.
Now let me ask you, Petra, do they have LGBT meetings there in Sweden now?
Yeah, we do.
Or women's meetings?
Yeah, we have a different we have women's meetings, men's meeting, young addicts in recovery meetings, and we also have meetings in different languages here. We have in Spanish-speaking meetings, English-speaking meetings, and we have here in Sweden, we also have a large Farsi-speaking community from Iran. So NA is huge in Iran. It's a huge fellowship. It's really, and we have a lot of people from Iran living here in Sweden. So they have a large Iranian community here too. So NA meeting comes in all different shapes and forms. So you can find a meeting where you can identify with the other members with similar backgrounds. And I would like to show a film just to, I don't know, and if you haven't been to an NA meeting, I will recommend you to just come and visit an NA meeting. We have open NA meetings where you can come and join and just sit in and listen, and you don't have to be an addict to be there. You can just be there as a visitor, and it's a very interesting experience for most, I think, and to get the feeling of the meeting, it's a good way to really understand how the meeting works. But I want to show, we have a public service announcement, and we have a film in Sweden. And it's in Swedish, of course, but it shows the NA meeting. So I would like to show this.
Det kan vara svårt att ta steget in på sitt första möte. Du kanske har försökt att sluta använda droger tidigare men inte lyckats. Du kanske känner dig hopplös och rädd. Du tänker att liksom allt annat jag har provat, att det här inte kommer funka heller. Eller att det kanske funkar för någon annan men inte för dig. Vi tror att det var så de flesta av oss kände när vi först kom hit. Men här behöver du inte känna dig ensam längre. Vi vet hur det känns. Våra bakgrunder, erfarenheter och historier skiljer sig åt, men vi delar samma känslor. Vi är drogfria idag för att vi bad om hjälp. Vill du sluta använda droger? Varmt välkommen till Anonyma Narkomaner.
Thank you, Janice. So maybe you didn't, I guess you didn't understand it, but maybe you felt it. I hope so. So I'm going to continue to talk about sponsorship. before I sponsorship. One of the first suggestions many of us here when we begin coming to NA meetings is to get a sponsor. And sponsorship in NA is a personal and private relationship that can mean different things to different people. Sponsors share their experience, strength, and hope with their sponsees. Some describe their sponsor as a loving and compassionate, someone they can count on to listen and support them no matter what. Others value the objectivity and detachment a sponsor can offer, relying on their direct and honest input, even when it may be difficult to accept. And others turn to a sponsor mainly for guidance through the 12 steps. So the sponsor relationship can be different for different persons. And it's if you never heard of a sponsor, it's similar to a mentorship or a mentor, someone who can support you in your recovery process. So sponsorship works for the same reason that NA works. It's because recovering members share common bonds of addiction and recovery, and in many cases can empathize with each other. As recovering addict in NA, we no longer need to live in isolation. We begin to feel connected and part of something larger than ourselves. Thank you. I think you will, Wilvena will talk about. Yes.
Yeah, before I talk about the evidence-based information and statistics in NA, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions about your experience with public relations in NA Sweden. I know, for example, you participated in a United Nations side session.
Yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yes, the United Nations, they hold a Commission on Narcotics Drug every year. It's a big conference. All nations are there representing. It's a big event, and we participated in a side event last year called recovery during the pandemic or something like that. The topic was so with other recovery organizations from Italy and Bosnia and in the UK. So it was a big event. I think there were about 200 attendees listening online from different recovery communities and agencies. So it was really interesting to be part of that, this UN side event.
Yeah, you invited me to that event, and I do remember you had treatment centers from Australia, all over the world, and I guess the presenters were talking about how Narcotics Anonymous was one of the cooperating agencies that assisted, when people got out of treatment. So that was really significant. And then you were just going to tell us a little bit about the Awareness Day in Gothenburg City.
Yes, I live in Gothenburg City, which is the second largest city in Sweden. And the city they have a goal to work recovery focused. So they want to build, they talk about, in recovery, you can talk, in recovery, they want to build recovery capital here in the city. So they want to support and strengthen the ways to recovery for people living in addiction. So they have created what they call a recovery network. It's a network of organizations working with a recovery focus. So NA is one of the organizations, and then it's a lot of organizations for families, children of incarcerated parents. There are organizations working with crime and addiction focus. So it's a lot of different NGOs working, like they are all connected to recovery in one way or another. So it's like a platform where the city, it's a platform of where the city can connect to or ask for guidance or like direct people who wants to find recovery. And we also organize recovery days together. We had one day where there were 600, it was a physical meeting and there were 600 people coming to this place, and NA had a live NA meeting on stage, and it was like a fair. We had tables too with information, and it was open for everyone. So everyone who was interested in recovery were welcome to come to this event. So there were like mothers and fathers with children in addiction who came. The police came. The social services were there, and people working with treatment, and a lot of a lot of people came. It was really, really successful in many ways, and we could show that there are many ways to recovery here in this city, and NA is one of them. And we could also see that being involved in a fellowship or a community is a very important part of recovery. So, and that was something that was obvious at this day too. So it was really interesting.
Okay, so Petra, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And that really inspires and reinforces the recovery agencies and networks that we have on, and our presenters that are coming up. We do have, I know that you have to run because you're going away with your family, but we want to thank you so much because you know, Petra is 7 hours ahead, and she had an exhausting day at work as well. And we want to thank you for giving your personal time to come on here. We want to conclude. I think we're running over slightly into our next speaker, but I'm going to just quickly go through these last set of slides very quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to our next speaker, who is going to be Dr. Angelia Smith-Wilson. So just to quickly finish this up, we want to talk a little bit about just the evidence-based statistics that Narcotics Anonymous does have. This slide is actually from a professionals presentation that happened in Switzerland. There were over 100 professionals there. I attended that in person, and Narcotics Anonymous actually collects member-reported information in a survey every 2 years. And this particular, all right, this is our membership survey, which is actually available in a brochure. It just has the breakdown of people that have lengths of time completely abstinent from drugs. The other slide that I want to talk about has to do with evidence-based information in Narcotics Anonymous. So one of the important pieces of information is that there is journal articles that are published about NA research, and that accumulated research in Narcotics Anonymous in terms of presentations and clinical expertise. NA presentations can help with clinical expertise. We also have public relations groups that present to medical students, social workers as part of their curriculum. So that's something that takes place. And also making Narcotics Anonymous available to literature, available to your clients can help. So just wrapping this up once again, In terms of recovery articles that exist, some of you may be familiar with William White and his paper that was published in 2016 about the paucity of attention to Narcotics Anonymous in public, professional, and policy research. And as a result of this research, 11 misconceptions about Narcotics Anonymous in the mind of the public and professionals were revealed. Now, very specifically, in the state of New Jersey Drug Court captures statistics related to Narcotics Anonymous because they have a 5-year mandation of their drug court participants to Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And they have lowered prison recidivism statistics. And this information was provided by drug court counselor Donna Westhoven, who did a presentation at our Narcotics Anonymous convention. So just very quickly, there are 11 misconceptions about Narcotics Anonymous. Basically that Narcotics Anonymous, we are not treatment, we are not anti-treatment. We also do not believe that there should be any issues with conflicts with other recovery agencies. Let me just quickly try to go through the rest of this. One of the things we're going to be putting in the chat, we have a couple of IPs that specifically deal with persons receiving medication-assisted treatment and misconceptions surrounding NA. So just to be clear, any member who is, or any person who comes to an NA meeting on medication, they are very welcome in our meetings. They are encouraged to be in our meetings. And our experience as a fellowship is that members have reached complete abstinence and enjoyed support and many years of sustained recovery by regularly attending NA meetings. So any of your clients, for example, can find sponsors who are on who have been on medically assisted treatment, who could help with their supporting their recovery. And then there are also related informational pamphlets on NA groups and medication. So this particular pamphlet actually has some little vignettes and anecdotes about members who have basically shared experiences about what should happen if we're at meetings, and just people explaining their experience about being in meetings. And the ultimate information with this pamphlet is that no matter what anyone's personal opinion or observations are about the use of medication, the focus of an NA group should be on how we can just carry the message to that person, not making a commentary about their personal and doctor prescribed medications. So we also have an informational pamphlet on mental health. I think those things are going to be put in the chat. And then the last 3 slides, very briefly, we wanted to just give this evidence-based information about our virtual meetings since the pandemic. Since the pandemic, we have one meeting that happens consistently 24 hours a day. It's based out of Long Island. This particular meeting has identified over 1 million IP addresses of persons identifying themselves as addicts. These statistics represent the people that have gotten clean on the screen during that time, which is since they've joined those meetings and celebrating complete and total abstinence. And there is an aggregate of a number of years of clean time. We have a Facebook group where there are over 18,000 members that attend that particular meeting. And since the pandemic, once again, the key takeaway is that there are over 1 million addicts served on this one regional. This is only one meeting that's represented, and there are multiple virtual meetings that take place. There are 9 international meetings that attend this particular meeting on a regular basis from Australia, Germany, the UK, Ireland, and very significantly, there are a variety of treatment centers. There are over 40 treatment centers that attend this particular virtual meeting over the course of a day in a variety of capacities. So some of them turn it on in their day room and leave it on. Some of the treatment centers allow participation of their clients to do readings and share during the meetings. And then for residential meetings, there are clients that attend these meetings overnight on their personal phones. So these are also just the statistics about meetings that have existed since the pandemic first, virtually. And this is our last slide, really, about cooperating with professionals. And we have printed material with QR codes that go directly to our meetings. And we can also bring in H&I presentations. So this is our contact information for anybody that wants to get in touch with Narcotics Anonymous. You can take a picture of that and